Prop it up.
That should be good. Perfect.
All right, partners, we're going to wait a couple minutes to get some people signed in, and then we'll get started in a minute, okay?
All right. This is fun. I always have a couple of people partners in my store. They're just heart.
Adam Modzell signing in. Hey, Adam, how's it going, buddy? Just so you guys all know, we're going to wait like about 45 seconds to a minute to get people signed in, so we're not talking to thin air.
And so we have coffee. Most important part of the coffee tasting.
Yeah, exactly, right? All right. So happy Tuesday to everyone who's already signed in. All right, cool. Thanks, Tua.
Thank you so much.
All right, ready to get started?
All right, let's do this.
All right, happy Tuesday, partners. Welcome to 10 Minute Tasting. My name is Adam Hanover. I'm the store manager at Rose Wharf in downtown Boston, as well as the Area 72 Barista Champion. This is my weekly webcast series on Periscope, in which every week we do a tasting of Starbucks coffee or a Starbucks beverage. Every week I have a special guest with me, and this week I have a very special guest. It's the newest district manager in the Boston area, Joshua Schanck. Josh, welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me on.
Good to have you on.
Excited to be here.
I've already congratulated you through text message and in person, but now I get to congratulate you right on the internet. Congrats on your promotion, my friend. I'm very happy for you. So welcome to the show, and we're going to have some fun today because Josh came up with a really creative idea. Normally we have a French press of coffee, but Josh had a really cool idea. So Josh, why don't you introduce what we're going to be doing today?
Absolutely. Today we're actually going to be tasting espresso brewed on our espresso machine at the store.
Absolutely cool idea.
Yeah. A couple reasons. One, it's my favorite. It's one of my favorite beverages. Also, I think it's really good timing with the upcoming Barista Championships.
Absolutely.
I know submissions just came in. So.
Yep. So we're going to start tasting it right away, and we'll have our conversation after because we don't want these shots to die on us here, okay? So let's
go through the
right
steps. I definitely get the caramel right away.
Oh yeah,
So
right
deep,
off the top.
Yeah, deep and dark too.
It's funny, I pick up the caramel scent off the top of the espresso more as a shot of espresso than I do out of a regular
Yeah,
brew.
it's concentrated, definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's taste that.
Wow. Super rich, incredibly rich, very caramelly.
This
nice.
is a moment of pride for me when I know that my machines have been calibrated correctly in my store because it's tasting exactly the way that it's supposed to taste right now.
Definitely.
So that's pretty good.
Definitely.
Yeah, and you're right, the richness that comes off of that right off the bat.
And locating on the palate really just kind of saturates the whole mouth, but in a really nice, pleasing, velvety kind of way.
Yeah. When we talk about it kind of hitting the palate all over the place, I also pick up a lot right down the sides of my tongue, which you don't find with a lot of dark roast. So Josh, why don't you tell us, what does the sides of the tongue indicate in a coffee?
So it's the sweet and the tartness.
Yep.
So that's like that kind of caramelly high-end flavor.
Absolutely. And that's one of the big things about espresso. I know Josh will share some details with us about how the espresso roast was formulated and what it was designed to go with. But really, it picks up a lot of acidity for a dark roast coffee. This is actually the coffee that we have at Starbucks that is the darkest, fullest body that also has medium acidity to it. None of our other coffees that are darker than espresso have this much acidity, which makes it a really unique coffee. And for those of you in the Barista Championships that are going to be competing at the store and district level, that is an interesting tidbit to have as you get ready for your barista craft section.
Yeah, and another cool thing about espresso is it really has everything going on for it. So it's got all the flavor profiles kind of wrapped up at once. As you drink it, the character kind of changes. It'll taste different depending on what kind of beverage you put it in. And I think something for me that's really astounding is this coffee is so good on every brewing method. So, whether it's a French press, a pour over, paper filter, Chemex, I use an AeroPress a lot at home, and then even as an espresso shot, it has the same kind of caramelly and roast balance across the board, but it stands out in a unique way on each platform. So.
And I can second that. I mean, I always look forward to accidentally running out of dark roast a day early in the week, and on like a Sunday I have to brew espresso roast as my dark. Customers actually get really excited to see that, to see espresso roast as our dark, because it's such a phenomenal regular cup of coffee. You forget that when you think, oh, this is what we use for our shots of espresso, but really a good espresso espresso shot should use a bean that can hold up well on its own as a cup of coffee. And the Starbucks coffee team back in 1975 did really a fantastic job of picking the coffee to go well with this.
Yeah, so it's a blend of Latin American and Indonesian coffees, and that's what gives it that that kind of nice acidity and caramelly nuttiness, but also that really well-rounded, full-bodied flavor that can also stand up to pretty intense roasting and brewing methods.
Yeah. And in order to kind of formulate it that way, one of the cool things that the coffee team was able to do was pick coffees that have two different processing methods. So there's washed Latin American coffee, there's semi-washed Indonesian coffee. They're combined in a pre-roast blend, roasted together. Now, we do have some blends in our stores already that have that quality to it, so it's not entirely unique, but it is a really good quality for a coffee to have. It's kind of well-rounded. It's got a lot of complexity and a lot of detail to that coffee, which is really cool.
Yeah, something I love too about a glass of espresso, or it just comes in a little 2-ounce glass. But if you think about how much goes into that, the way anytime I have a sip of it, I think, wow, this is really the entire world of coffee, really refined down to 2 ounces. All the work that goes into preserving quality at every step of the way. And all the artistry that goes into producing it gets refined into just the smallest kind of, highlight of what the coffee world has to offer.
Yeah, and as I believe it was Adam Mozell who shared the comment at the beginning, if it wasn't you and it was someone else, I'm sorry, but the comment was that this is at the heart of everything that we do, and that's absolutely correct. I know Josh is an Origins partner. Adam, who shared that comment, was an Origins partner. Someday, hopefully, I will also be an Origins partner. But until then, it's interesting the two Origins partners were able to share something very similar about this coffee. This little 2-ounce cup that we have in front of us is so important to everything that we do here at Starbucks. It's the baseline of everything that we create. Our lattes, our cappuccinos, our flat whites and latte macchiatos. This is at the heart, really, of everything that we do. And it's that last 10 feet that we talk about. It's even the last 1 foot of handing off the coffee right to the person at the handoff plane that's so important.
Yeah,
now, I know Josh has been through the first 10 feet and seeing coffee come right off the plants. He could share about how important it is to really refine that coffee down into a good shot of espresso behind the bar while we're wearing our aprons. But he's actually seen firsthand that first 10 feet of the passion of picking the beans and growing the beans. And why don't you share a little bit about your origin strategy?
Last January, I got to go to Costa Rica, and it was really mind-blowing because part of why I started my career at this company is when I learned about what we did and how we invested in the coffee farming communities that really not just support us but support the entire coffee world. And when I was in Costa Rica, something became very, very clear and abundantly clear, and that's that people really work to preserve quality. So whether it's the farmers, their communities, processors, exporters, purchasers, roasters, everyone's primary role is really ensuring that that coffee is of the utmost quality. And what's unique about a barista, us in the last 10 feet, is we share in that same work, but we also have an additional role, and that's one of being a storyteller.
Yeah.
And that's I think really what kind of makes the apron really important, and when you put that on, you're putting on a storyteller. It's like passing the mic, right? The apron's a mic for you to tell the story of all the people that kind of stand behind it.
I've never heard it put that way before, but I think that's really, really a phenomenal way of phrasing kind of what our role can be as an ambassador, really, for coffee.
Definitely.
Those of you who know me know I could talk for forever if you let me. So being able to be a storyteller about coffee, that's definitely a role that I cherish. And I'm glad to know that there's other people around that feel the same way about sharing that coffee passion as I do. When we talk about everything that goes into growing the coffee, the agronomists that help figure out which types and which varietals are going to be grown in different farms, crossbreeding, and really kind of the flavor profiles and processing method, and really just honestly the amount of water that goes into 1 pound of coffee just to process those beans on the washed method is so much water water. Think about how much environmental impact we have just in 1 pound of coffee. And when we look at something like the brewed batch guidance that we use in our stores now, how important it is to follow that correctly. I know I have mine posted. I hope for those store managers and shift managers that might be on the call, make sure that you have an up-to-date brewed batch guidance. And now we know after our most recent Winter 2 update that we're now supposed to have an in-the-moment batch guidance in Sharpie right on the front of our urns. If you haven't done that, check that out. It's really, really important to make sure that we're not just dumping coffee down the drain. Not because it hurts the profit of the store, but it hurts the soul of coffee. It hurts the soul of the environment. You know?
It is amazing how much, is that, we wear the two hats. We do have to affect quality too, and it's amazing how much of our job actually goes into preserving the quality of coffee, but also the sustainability of the
Absolutely.
coffee too.
Yeah. So, with the few minutes that we have left, I'd like to thank Josh for coming on and being part of the tasting today for this really great idea of doing the espresso. I know a couple other people have come up with some really great ideas over the next few weeks and next few months. So we're going to have a couple of other really interesting tastings on here and some interesting conversations. So I hope you guys will join for that. Now, for those of you that are watching live, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to check this out. For those of you that are not watching live, that are catching this on my YouTube channel, thank you for following us on YouTube. If you want to leave comments on YouTube, you're more than welcome to. And I will always get back to any comments that I receive on YouTube. As well as I now have a Snapchat that I'm going to be using for Coffee Knowledge. The Snapchat is Adam Styles, all one word. Feel free to follow me on Snapchat. I post stories around reserve coffees and reserve launches. Any interesting coffee tastings that I do in the store, some latte art, things like that will be up there, as well as interspersed with pictures of my kid. So we'll be on Snapchat. You can catch me on YouTube at youtube.com/heat1724. You can also catch me on Twitter at SombreDeAdam. And Josh is on Twitter at Joshua Schanck.
Yep.
You want to spell that out for them so they don't miss your last name?
It's a big one. Last name is Schanck.
Awesome.
Hope to see you on there.
Yes. And very special goodbye that I have here. While I have him in the store, I kind of just want to embarrass him really fast and say Marcus Eckensberger, who's been my leader in this area for the last 4 years that I've been in Boston now. He's been a really major part of my development with this company, moving from barista to coffee master to shift manager to store manager. And it's been a really great experience working with him. For those of you that don't know, he'll be moving on to New Jersey at the end of March. Marcus, would you like to say a farewell to those that are watching?
No, not a farewell to those that are watching, but more of a thank you to you, Adam. So just thank you for all you're doing. Thank you for sharing your passion and your engagement with coffee with all of us. We've learned a lot from you, and you've served us well as our barista champion. Thank you, and thank you for your mentorship around coffee and all you're doing. So I'll see you guys, I'm sure, in the Garden State.
Awesome. Well, for Marcus, for me, and for Josh, I would just like to say happy Tuesday, everyone, and have a great day.